I hope the presentation is visible.
Yes, sir, it's visible.
So I've taken it
Presentation.
the the presentation mode.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's start with what is a business plan and why do we need a business plan? So, business plan primarily serves two purposes. The first purpose is that it outlines uh, why a business should exist or the reason for a business to exist is often adequately outlined in a business plan. And second reason is that if you need money, that means if you want to borrow money to run your business, then this plan communicates all the details that are required by a funder to give you the money that you're looking forward to. So, I mean, this is a nutshell what a business plan is. But for a startup or for a young entrepreneur team, often business plan is not needed. Often, right? But there are cases where you may need one, and most of the people, most of the experts in the startup world often advocate young entrepreneurs not to devote too much time or resources on developing a business plan because it is believed that as a startup, you will keep changing your business plan or the product idea on a day-to-day basis. So if your idea or your product is going to change, so will your business plan will. So if you invest too much effort into developing a business plan and then you are discarding it, then it's too much of a waste of time. And as we will see during the course of discussion, that developing a business plan is an onerous exercise. That means you need multidimensional teams to work on various aspects of a business plan, and if and so normally as a startup you are hardly two or three or at most four-person team, and if you are spending all your time in preparing business plans, then who will run the business, right? So, and normally the pre-seed or venture capitalists are not very fond of business plans because business plan is a very big document and they don't have time to read or go through that document. They are more interested in elevator pitches, which will last only 30 seconds. And their advice is that even in the elevator pitches, you should talk more about your team strength, right? Why your team should get funded, not too much emphasis on your product idea. And the reason for that is that they say that it is the team that's going to more or less uh, stay constant after 6 months also, whereas the plan or the product idea might change or will definitely change within next 1 month or 2 months. So why should we invest our time listening about an idea which is going to evolve or which is going to change further, right? So they are more keen and interested in certain aspects of business plan, right? So we will be discussing about this topic of preparation of detailed business plan with a view that if we are a young startup, then there are parts which we can avoid and there are parts on which we can lay more emphasis and create an appropriate kind of an elevator pitch or material for an elevator pitch or material for communicating your ideas to all other stakeholders uh, and be aware that what a business plan or a detailed business plan is like. Okay, and please feel free to interject me at any point in time. I like to be very interactive. uh, One of the limitations of our system is that I'm not able to at the same time track my audience as well as deliver the lecture through PPT. So please feel free to interrupt me. uh, I mean, I guess you can unmute yourself and ask a question, right? So that is the way I like my lectures to be. So how I have organized today's discussion is that we will first introduce you a bit to what business plan is. Then we will discuss about business plans for startups. Then building a business plan will be presented to you. We will try to touch upon a case study, not like going through a detailed business plan, but how you can use current tools. There are online tools available for developing business plans. And finally, we will summarize whatever we have discussed, right? And take question and answers. So please feel free to ask questions as we go along. So, a business plan has got an executive summary. So instead of writing introduction, I have also put in executive summary as the first informative slide. So a business plan identifies key areas of your business so you can maximize the time you spend on generating income. Key investors will want to look at your business plan before providing capital, that we have already discussed that it's one of the most viable uses. And business plan is not only prepared by startups, but it is prepared for any initiative where capital might be required, right? Outside capital might be required in any large organization. So in those cases like General Electric or say Microsoft or Google, if they are going for a new product, then they would like to develop a detailed business plan, right? And they have the resources, so they can spend time, energy to prepare this business plan and raise adequate amount of capital that they need. So a business plan helps you start and keep your business on a successful path. Now, one of the utilities of business plan is that it clearly it helps you to clearly communicate your ideas to wide variety of stakeholders, especially when you are a startup and you have a very disruptive technological idea. Then most people are unaware of it. So a business plan can help you communicate your ideas effectively so that everybody involved is on the same page. So you should prepare a business plan. uh, Although in reality, many small business owners do not. And any young startup is in the category of small business only because it's too much resource intensive. Okay, so let's come to discuss what is a business plan. So a business plan is a written document that defines the goals of your business and describes how you will attain those goals. So it's a comprehensive document. A business plan is worth your considerable investment of time, effort, and energy, right? Provided you can spare as a startup founder. And a business plan sets objectives, defines budgets, engages partners, and anticipate problems before they occur. So for a large organization, it is imperative to have a business plan because otherwise they would find it very difficult to communicate the core ideas for a new product, right? Whereas in case of a startup team, it's generally of small size, so they have very limited resources. So if they can spare, they should go for one. Otherwise, there are other ways to communicate their core ideas. So business, a written narrative, typically it is of 25 to 35 pages long, and it describes what a new business plans to accomplish. It is a dual use document, like I have been telling you uh, in previous slides also, uh, that it is used to communicate your core concept inside the firm as well as outside the firm and raise capital also. So there are two primary audience for a firm's business plan. So the first set of audience is internal to the firm, that is firm's employees. So, and what they are looking for in the business plan is that it is a clearly written document that helps the employees of a firm to operate in sync and move forward in a consistent and purposeful manners. So, if two of us or three of us decides that we want to pursue this product idea. Now, what will happen that that three of us may be very clear, or maybe one of us is more clear than the other two. But since they are good friends of mine, so they are saying that they also understand what I'm trying to communicate. But let's say if there are other employees, right? So they may not have any idea why we are trying to pursue a particular product idea, or for that matter, what that particular product idea is. So it would be good that you have, if you have a business plan, then it would be very easy for the employees to understand the core idea and how you are approaching to solve various problems that will arrive in developing this product. And so it helps greatly in communication to even internal employees of the firm, right? Similarly, for external stakeholders like investors or like your customers, so a firm's business plan will help them realize whether it is worthy to invest in your product idea or in your venture or not. And if you can clearly communicate their, I mean, how they are going to benefit or how they will get return on their investment, then it would make your life much easier for in raising capital. So I guess you now have got some uh, an idea of what a business plan is all about. So for a firm's internal employees, it will help them provide with the plan and and the concept note about the idea, and to the external investors it will provide how they will benefit if they invest in your company by taking into account business plan that you have created. Any questions so far? Okay, no, then let's move forward. So why you need a strong business plan? The first reason is to attract investors. So your business plan has enough financial and market financial details as well as details of market research like market size and product market fit for your product idea, so that they can make or they can arrive at a decision of whether they want to invest and what kind of risk that they are taking. Similarly, to see if your business idea will work. So it has elements that details how your product is going to work or whether your product is technically feasible or not. Then it helps to outline each area of the business. Then it helps to set up milestones. So when you start with a product idea, so normally what we feel is that you have identified an opportunity for which there exists a market of of adequate size, and your product idea is such that it has the right kind of fitness to the market, right? So, for example, uh, a bad product market fit is like though mobile phone market is worth billions of dollars, but not every mobile phone yeah, sells like hotcakes. Some may sell millions of units, while other mobile phone design may hardly sell a few thousand units, right? So, product market fit is very much essential. You may have an opportunity, you may have a large market, but your product idea might fail. Okay, so during the course from idea generation to getting to an actual product and ramping up its production, there are various milestones which have to be covered and which helps us monitor the progress of the product development. So a business plan contains details about such milestones. Then there is significant amount of effort spent in doing market research. So business plan helps to learn about the market in which you are going to operate. So it's like how big your market is, who are the current players, what are the alternative or competitive products that are already existing in the market, and whether you will be able to secure additional funding or loans on this particular product idea. Then it also helps in determining your financial needs, whether you need $1 million or 10 crore of rupees, or maybe you need only 20 lakh of rupees, is determined through your business plan. So there is a financial section in the business plan that helps you determine it. Then if you want to attract best people to work with you on this product idea, then also this business plan will help achieve this by communicating your product idea to the people. So you can monitor your business also with the help of business plan, because it has different milestones. And further, business plans often uh, contain risk mitigation strategies. So if, let's say, I identify a few risks, and if they become a reality, right, then I have a contingency plan in place so that I won't lose my investment in that product idea. Okay, any questions, class? No, then let's move further. Hello. So often, you can have a very detailed plans for your business idea, but how much detail should your plan be, right? Depends on the on your need, or on the market in which you are operating. or even on your internal and external stakeholders. So business plans differ widely in their length, appearance, content, and the emphasis placed on different aspects of the business. So now, for a specific case, we can discuss how long your business plan should be. So you may need a very different type of business plan for specific cases. So there are mini plans which place less emphasis on critical details, and they are used to test your assumptions, concept, and measure the interest of potential investors. So normally, a startup or a small enterprise will come up with a mini plan. Then you have a working plan where there is greater emphasis on details. It is used continuously to review business operations and progress. And then you have got presentation plans. So in this case, emphasis is on marketability of the business concept. It is used to give information about the business to bankers, venture capitalists, and other external resources so that we can generate capital, or we can borrow capital from outs from external stakeholders. So any questions, class?
No.
No, then let's move further. Okay, so how do you assemble a business plan? So every business plan should include some essential components. First component is that of overview of the business. So it describes the business, including its products and services. The next crucial section is that of marketing plan. So it describes the target market for your product and explains how you will reach that market. That means what is the target market like? Now over here, there you can segment your market also, like whether you are targeting niche customers or you are targeting mass scale, low cost products, right? So so there can be different segments in which your product may lie, and and you should have a go-to-market strategy, like how will you reach your customer with your product. So whether you will be using a distributor network or you will be selling directly to your customers, like it is happening in e-commerce, but even then you should have details about how you will receive payment, how you will deliver, what will be your supply chain, how will you deliver your product to the customer. And third crucial section of a business plan is financial management plan, which details the costs associated with operating your business and explains how you will pay for those costs, including the amount of financing you may need. So you have to, like, say I need $1 million for my startup, but I need to clearly give reason why I need only $1 million. Why not $5 million, or why not $100,000? Right? So, there should be a justification for how you will spend the money that you are trying to raise. And then the next crucial section is operations and management plan, which describes how you will manage the core processes of your business, including the use of human resources. So operations and management plan will help convince your investors or stakeholders that the business plan or the plan to take the product to the market is a viable one. Okay, so you maybe if you are into a hardware industry, so you will have to showcase how you can how you will build the product, the hardware part of the product. And whether you have in-house resources, or whether you will be outsourcing the manufacturing part, or whether you will be you have a supply chain which is going to provide you with most of the parts, and you will assemble them in-house. So whether you have the supply chain in place, and how good it is, how robust it is, and whether you have adequate manpower and resources to assemble the outsourced components. So all these details should be there in operations and management plan. So, so if you are a startup, you should at least have these 4 sections in your business plan. So business plan must help investors understand and gain confidence on how you will meet your customers' needs. And there are some common parts of a good business plan, which starts with the executive summary, then business concept that we just discussed is detailed, then market analysis is there, then for a startup, emphasis on the team or the core team that is behind the startup needs to be explained in detail, and how that team is the most suitable team for taking the startup idea forward. Then you should have a marketing plan, right, which we discussed just a little while before, and may have been discussed throughout your TEDP, because eventually a startup is not about technology. It is about serving a customer, or serving an opportunity that has been created by the customers. So you may have a very good product, but if customers are not interested in paying for that product, then it's useless, right? So marketing plans are very crucial to a successful startup. And then there are many startups that go down because they cannot afford to stay afloat. I mean, they may have a good market, but they don't have the money to pay to their employees, or they don't have money to buy raw material, right? So financial plan is also very important aspect of business plan. And finally, operations and management plan that we discussed before is crucial, because if you don't have a strong operations and management plan, then it would be difficult to convince your investors that you will be in a position to return their investments. So the feasibility of a product idea depends on operations and management, right? And then comes marketing. Okay, any questions, class, so far? No, then let's get into the details of each of these 7 parts that we have identified. So executive summary of a business plan is a 3 to 5 page introduction to your business plan. It is critical because many individuals, including venture capitalists, only read the summary. Okay, so maybe rest of your document will be read only if it makes sense. So it is very crucial for you, and especially since most of you are students with little experience, what I have figured out that there is a lot of hesitancy in writing executive summaries, right? And why so? Because they feel that they have prepared a long document with due diligence and taking so much of pain. So everybody should read the entire document, and then they will be able to understand the value of their idea. But to all other stakeholders and especially VCs, they get hundreds of such proposals every day, right? So they don't have time to go through a detailed business plan, right? So what they do is they will look at the executive summary. If it sounds interesting to them, then they will get into the details. Otherwise, they will throw out the entire business plan then and there. That means they will not consider it further. So executive summary is the most important part of the business plan, right? So executive summary includes a first paragraph that introduces your business. That means you will have to clearly tell what is the name of your startup, where it is located or headquarters, and then you will have to give a brief explanation of customer needs and how your product or service can serve this customer need. Then you will specify that the product or service meets or exceeds the customer needs. Then you will give an introduction of the team that will execute the business plan. So, you are setting up the stage, right, with customer needs and how your product or services meets or exceeds the customer needs and how your team can deliver this product. Okay, so you should start realizing that the team's importance comes right from the executive summary, right from the first paragraph of executive summary. And especially if you are a startup, then people will take very close look at the team that you have formed. So there are times when I have seen that two friends are forming a team and they both have similar set of skills because they were classmates, right? So the team is not a strong one because as you have seen the to run a business, right, you need to have experts from different domains like marketing, like operations management, like somebody from financial background, right? So two computer science graduates won't make a strong team even if they are class toppers, right? We want team members to be to have complementary skill sets. So maybe one person who is a domain expert, right, and the other person who is a technology expert can come together and form a team, and this team might be a very strong team because let's say somebody is coming from logistics background, right, or somebody is coming from food processing background, right, and somebody is coming from automation background, so they both can form a very strong team. Why? Because they can automate a lot of food processing processes and come up with a viable or very attractive product idea, right? And since one is from automation, so he can design the machines, and the food processing expert knows the that particular domain or the business, and so they both can make almost a perfect team, right? But let's say both of them are into food processing, right? Industry. So then it's not a, because they can come up with very good ideas, but then they will not have anyone in their team who knows the technology to implement it, right? Similar is the case with IoT, right? If you have two computer science graduates who are class toppers, they are coming together and forming a team and thinking that there's the best team because they know the technology in and out. But then they don't know the domain where they can apply it, whether it's Industry 4.0 or any other industry, right, like food processing. They don't know the industry, so nobody will talk to them. They won't know how to talk to decision makers or how to validate their idea, how to get customer traction, because they don't know the domain. right? So they may be very sound technically and they may be able to implement any idea, but they don't know the market, so they won't be able to sell their products. Okay. So details about team in executive summary is very important, and your team should be diverse. Subsequent paragraphs that provide key details about your business, including projected sales and profits, unit sales, profitability, and key to success are to be mentioned. Then visuals that help the readers see important information, including highlights, charts, market share projections, and customer demand charts are important. And it takes uh, extraordinary amount of effort for a new product idea to have all these information in detail, right? But these information is very crucial. Okay, so part two of business plan is about business concept. So is there any question? If there are any questions, please unmute yourself and ask. Otherwise, I will continue.
Hello.
So yes, please go ahead.
Yeah. Good evening, sir. Sir,
please
like if I
tell
want
your
to,
name to the audience so that they can relate to you.
I'm Akash Gupta from BBA, sir.
Okay.
Sir, I want to ask that if I'm doing my own startup, so how will I search those employees or partners who are willing to work with me and putting their 100% in my work? Through which forum I will search for them?
So, you will have to first build this network before thinking about the startup. Right? So, you will go to various forums. I mean, one way is go to various forums, discuss your ideas, right? And then identify whether there are two aspects to it. One, the person should be willing. The other is that he should be competent enough. Right? So, somebody has given me this tip that you should, when you are looking for your partners or your employees or anybody with whom you want to work, use ABC rule. A stands for availability. B stands for behavior. C stands for competence. And it follows, I mean, first of all, you should look whether the person that whom you want to associate with has time or not. He may be very good at behavior and he might be very competent, right? But if he is not interested, he doesn't have time for you, so it's a total waste, right? So if somebody is not available, then or has limited availability, then it's a strict no. We don't want to associate with such a person, right? Let's say if he is available, but if he is not good at behavior, right, then again you will have a problem in dealing with him, right? Because if he is abusive or if he is irritating, then you won't be able to sustain, at least in a startup, because startups have got lots of uncertainty and there will be very tense moments, right? So cool temperament people or people whose temperament matches will be able to easily mm, handle those pressure situations, right? So now, if you find someone who is good, who has time, who has good behavior, or his behavior is acceptable, then comes the competence part. So then you should look for whether he is competent or not to do the job that you want. So using this rule, you can prune away lots of people who will be simply a waste of your time as a partner, right? So it's a very good question, very pertinent one. There is no silver bullet, right? For someone, I may be a worthy participant or a worthy partner. For others, I may be may not be as worthy as somebody else might be, right? So you have to be judicious, and entrepreneurship is much about your own personality. So you will have to take these decisions, and that is the beauty of it, that it allows you to take your decisions. So, for example, those who are salaried employees, they don't have this choice. Somebody else chooses their colleagues, somebody else chooses their bosses or subordinates, and they have to somehow manage with them, right? But as a startup founder or as a entrepreneur, you have the liberty to choose your own partners. Okay, I hope it answers your
Yes,
question.
sir. Sir,
Yes,
just one
please go
thing,
ahead.
sir. Sir, so through like starting from the dust, which forum should we like we should travel in market and search for the employees, or like if I want to keep a sales head, so for an area like for a state also I want to keep a sales head or from starting only. So where will I search for these employees?
So,
Through
if you want an employee, let's say, let's take it, you want an employee. So, there are so many recruitment agencies. You can place your own advertisement in places like Ascent, or there are job group posting boards like Naukri.com, right? For employees, right? So,
okay, sir.
through that, you can get to know that these people are interested in working in this area. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Or you can attend job fairs or various conferences where students come, right? And then you can evaluate them. So, why conferences or why fairs are so important? Because there you go and meet people interested in a particular field.
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay. So,
Yes,
so those are the real problem comes when you want to find a business partner or a co-founder, right? So
yes,
over
sir.
there also you have cohorts where where people from different backgrounds come and interact.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So that way we can, and I mean, networking is very important. Create a LinkedIn profile and search for people who are operating in the similar phase, similar area, right? And then make friends with them, try them out.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you will have to be very open. I mean, somehow our society is too uh, conservative for interactions. But if you want to operate in the startup domain, then you have to be very interactive,
Yes,
right?
okay. Yes, sir.
वो कहते हैं ना किताबी कीड़ा बन के काम नहीं चलेगा in this particular domain. For bookworms, their career options are different. Karthike wants to ask something. He is raising hand. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Sir, I want to ask, as you mentioned that we should explore some platforms like forums for business related queries. So now you told about the networking platforms like LinkedIn or others also. So are there any forums to discuss the business related issues or queries which we can face during our initial stage?
So yes, there are business clinics, there are other kinds of forums, but specifically what kind of problems you're facing?
Sir, now I'm starting and planning for a startup. I have not started yet, but if it will be helpful that I have a support through a
Okay, so
forum for where I can.
AIDC is the place. I mean, the organizers of this TEDP program are your first helpline,
Okay, okay, sir.
right? So we are conducting these TEDPs because we want everybody to know AIDC exists and AIDC is meant for helping people,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
right? The students like you,
Yes.
budding entrepreneurs. right?
Yes.
So AIDC is your first spot, right? And it's a good idea. Saket, are you there? I guess there is some with. Uh, I will talk to him later. By the way, Dr. Sindhu, how much time do I have? Okay, so if there are no more questions, then let's proceed with the.
हमारे लिए इतना करने के बाद भी तुमने एक शब्द तक नहीं कहा। शांति ने प्यार करना तो सिखाया, लेकिन उसका इजहार करना नहीं सिखाया।
I guess somebody is watching some other program.
जहां जिंदगी ले गई चल पड़े।
Okay, let's come back to it. Business concept shows evidence that a product or service is viable and capable of fulfilling an organization's particular needs. So the business concept section should articulate the vision of the company, how you plan to meet the unique needs of your customers, and how you plan to make money doing that. It also discusses feasibility studies that you have conducted for your products. It discusses diagnostic sessions you had with prospective customers for your service. It captures and highlights the value proposition in your product or service offerings. So basically, your entire concept of the business and the proof that this concept is viable is discussed in business concept section, right? So if you have questions, we can take them. Otherwise, we move to the third part, which is market analysis. So market analysis defines the target market so that you can position your business to get its share of sales. So I hope there have been numerous sessions on market research. So market research helps you to perform market analysis. So you have to collect the data regarding your customers, regarding the size of the market, regarding how your product fits into the market. And so market analysis section comprises or of the following. It defines your market. It provides the segment in which your customer falls in. It projects your market share. It positions your products and services. It discusses pricing and promotion strategies. It identifies communication, sales, and distribution channels through which you can reach your market. So basically, with the help of these 6 sections, you show it to your investor that your product is commercially viable product, and that whatever investment that is being made into development of this product can be returned multifold times. So maybe if a venture capitalist is putting in 1 crore of rupees, he is expected to receive 10 crores of rupees in, say, let's say 3 to 5 years. So that's the kind of market analysis is needed. And then only the investors will be willing to invest in your idea. Part 4 is about management team. So it outlines the organizational structure. That is, it highlights the hierarchy and outlines responsibilities and decision-making powers. So maybe if you are 2 co-founders, so who is the CEO, who is the CTO, or who is the CXO? So this needs to be very clearly outlined. There are many a times when I have seen young startups, all are directors. There are three co-founders and all are directors. Now, who is the decision maker, right? Who will talk to the customer, or who will talk to the investor? Who will take care of the technology? If that's not clear, then whenever there is a pressure situation, that means you stuck with an obstacle, then who is responsible to do what is not clear, and then it becomes a very nightmare kind of a situation. That means we cannot fix responsibilities, right? So who's to be blamed that investors are not willing to fund us, or who is to be blamed that the product development is not on time, right? So organizational structures and how powers are being responsibilities and powers are being shared should be clearly highlighted. Then you have to highlight the management team's track record. You may also offer details about key employees, including qualifications, experiences, or outstanding skills, which could add a competitive advantage or edge to the image of the business. So normally you will see in almost all successful startups, they will say that their co-founding team is from the top rated colleges like Stanford or Harvard, right? Because they are very reputed ones, and their alumni have done exceptionally well, right? Or say somebody who has a PhD in niche areas like quantum computing, right? And you are setting up a startup in quantum domain. So you will have to showcase that you have access to employees who have PhDs in quantum computing. Then you will have to highlight the working structure. That is how your management team will operate within your defined organizational structure. Then you will have to highlight the business expertise of your management and senior team. You may also include special knowledge of budget control, personal management, public relations, and strategic planning. Then you will have to highlight the skill gaps. That is to improve your company's overall skills or expertise. So you should discuss opportunities and plans to acquire new information and knowledge that will add value, right? Then you will have to have a section on personal plan, which highlights current and future staffing requirements and related costs. So, so this section is usually very important for a startup. Then, do you have any questions, class, so far? So in part 5, that is a section on marketing plan, which details what you propose to accomplish and is critical in obtaining funding to pursue new initiatives. Because a startup, though it might revolve around a path-breaking technology, but until or unless the product serves the customer needs, it won't sell. The customer won't pay for it, right? So marketing plans are very important. So this section contains information about the impacts and results of past marketing decisions. It explains the external market in which the business is competing. It sets goals to direct future marketing efforts. It sets clear and realistic and measurable targets. It includes deadlines for meeting those targets. It provides a budget for all marketing activities, and it specifies accountability and measures for all activities. So when will you, when are you going to launch the product? And before launching the product, what kind of advertising you are planning to do? And when you will start this, how much before you will start this advertising, right? So this section is also very important for startups. Then you have the part 6 of business plan comprises of financial plan. It translates your company's goals into specific financial targets. So it has the following sections. That is, it clearly defines what a successful outcome entails. So the plan merely is not about predicting the success or failure of the company. It implies a commitment to making the targeted results happen and establishes milestones for gauging the progress. It provides you with a vital feedback and control loop. Variances from projections provide early warnings of the problems. When variances occur, the plan can provide a framework for determining the financial impact and the effect of various corrective actions. So let's say if you fine tune your product idea, so what will be the cost implication can be determined from financial plan. Then it also anticipates problems. So if rapid growth creates a cash shortage due to investment in receivables and inventory, the forecast should show this. If next year's projections depend on certain milestones this year, the assumptions should spell this out. Okay, so the financial plan is most essential part of your business plan, because if you don't have enough cash or your cash flow is not adequate, right, then you may cease to exist sooner than due to any other planning problem, right? It shows investors the time frames you have scheduled to make profits. So some elements of the financial plan include important assumptions that you're making, key financial indicators, your break-even analysis, projected profit or loss, projected cash flow, projected balance sheet, projected business ratios, and long-term plan. So for financial planning, you have different options, like you can do short-term forecasting, which projects either the current year or a rolling 12-month period by month. This type of forecast should be updated at least monthly and become the main planning and monitoring vehicle. Budget translates goals into detailed actions and interim targets. So a budget should provide details such as specific staffing plan and line item expenditures. That is, the size of a company may determine whether the same model used to prepare the 12-month forecast can be appropriate for budgeting. In any case, unlike the 12-month forecast, a budget should generally be frozen at the time they are approved. So budgeting is also very important. Then you have strategic forecasts, which incorporates the strategic goals of companies into the projections. For startup companies, the initial business plan should include a month-by-month projection for the first year, followed by annual projections for a minimum of 3 years. And you should also have a cash forecast, which breaks down the budget and 12-month forecast into more detail. The focus of these forecasts is on cash flow rather than accounting profits, and periods may be as short as a week in order to capture the fluctuations. So week by week, you should have a plan which contains how much for cash you would be requiring. And most businesses that go bankrupt is because they got their cash forecast wrong. And finally, the last, that is part 7, which consists of operations and management section, and outlines how your company will operate. So this section includes organizational structure of the company, provides a basis for projected operating expenses and financial statements. And these statements are heavily scrutinized by investors. The organizational structure has to be well defined and realistic within the parameters of the business. It also has expense and capital requirements to support the organizational structure. So it provides a basis to identify personal expenses. That means salaries, overhead expenses, and cost of products or services sold. So these expenses or costs can then be matched with capital requirements. So, in most of the businesses, first of all, you have to invest in producing or manufacturing the product, and then the customer pays for them when he or she buys the product. So due to that period, I mean, the investments you're making upfront and returns are coming after 12 months. So there is cost of capital which is involved, right? So you should be careful with your operations and management plan. Okay, any questions? No. So how do you write a business plan? There are some guidelines, and there is a lot of literature available online, and you should read a lot so that you are well acquainted. But you should not be copybook, okay, or a copycat. So your plan should not be copied from somewhere else, and maybe some modifications done to make it look like as if it's your business plan. So try to be as original as possible, right? Of course, there are certain sections which are mandatory, as we have just discussed. So keep that structure conventional. So because this plan will be scrutinized by venture capitalists, and if they find it to be too different from what they are used to seeing as a business plan, then it might irritate them, it might annoy them, right? Because they are not able to understand, or to make or in order to understand, they have to invest too much time, right? So to make best impression, a business plan should follow a conventional structure, such as outline of the business plan, which has been shown so far. So although some entrepreneurs want to demonstrate creativity departing from the basic structure of the conventional business plan, is usually a mistake, usually, right? But you should be original, right? Not a copycat. Typically, investors are busy people and want a plan where they can easily find critical information. So structure of the business plan, there are several software packages which are available that employ an interactive, menu-driven approach to assist in writing of a business plan. You can Google it and find them, like Life Plan is there, Plan Guru is there, StartPad is there. Some of these programs are very helpful. However, entrepreneurs should avoid a boilerplate plan that looks as though it came from a canned source. And a business plan, along with facts and figures, needs to project a sense of anticipation and excitement about the possibilities that surround a new venture. So, it should not look like a stale, kind of a business plan. So you should have some creative element. So we have already discussed the content of the business plan. So it should give clear and concise information on all the important aspects of the proposed venture. It must be long enough to provide sufficient information, yet short enough to maintain readers' interest. So for most plans, 25 to 35 pages are sufficient. So there are three types of business plans. So there is summary business plan, which is of 10 to 15 pages, works best for new ventures in early stages of development that want to test the waters to see if investors are interested in their idea. Full business plans are usually of 25 to 35 pages, works best for new ventures who are at the point where they need funding or financing, serves as blueprint for company's operation. And then you have operational business plans, which is 40 to 100 pages and is meant primarily for an internal audience, works best as a tool for creating a blueprint for new ventures operations and providing guidance to operational managers. Okay, so recognizing the elements of the plan may change. It's important to recognize that plan will usually change while written. New insights invariably emerge when an entrepreneur or a team of entrepreneurs immerse themselves in writing the plan and start getting feedback from others. So business plan has got other kinds of utility also. So you can get a better clarity of thought when you prepare the business plan. Okay, so we have discussed the outline of the business plan. So now, how much time I have? Dr. Sindhu or Dr. Mr. Saket, are you there? Okay, now finally you will have to present the business plan to investors, right? And you can go for oral presentation. So the first rule in making an oral presentation is to follow directions. If you are told you have 15 minutes, don't talk for more than the allotted time. Presentation should be smooth and well rehearsed. The slides should be sharp and not cluttered. Questions and feedback to expect from investors. So smart entrepreneur has a good idea of questions that will be asked and will be prepared for those queries. And normally 12 PowerPoints to include in an investor presentation are mentioned here: title, slide, problem, solution, opportunity and target, market, technology, competition, marketing and sales, management team, financial projections, current status, financing sought, and summary are the slides that should be given. So the key takeaways from this discussion are that business plans are critical for success of a company. Different companies will require different types of business plans. All business plans have some essential sections that explain the core aspects of the company. In order to help your company have a better chance of gaining interest and investors, a business plan should include 7 essential sections: executive summary, business concept, market analysis, management team, marketing plan, financial plan, operations, and management plans. Okay, so with this, these are some of the sources and citations. So with this, I come to the end of my talk. If we have 10 minutes or slightly more, then I can share how you can use StratPad to prepare your business plan. So you can take my details from this slide, and then I will so if you have any questions, you can ask me.
Sir, hello.
Yes, please go ahead.
I have one question. Sir, do you have any means like a sample of
a business plan that you want to see? Okay, I can. Okay, let's first see the sample, or let's first go through a StratPad demo, and then I will show you a sample if it is required. If it requires further illustration. Okay, so I guess plus is the slide is the
Today,
video
I'm going to talk
visible?
about business planning.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Can you
Yes,
hear
sir.
it?
Yes, sir.
Service,
Okay.
so that you have a live, living and breathing business plan that helps you get to where you want to get to. So it's a program that I've been using for a while, and best of all, it's free. It's free for one business plan, so you can use it as long as you want. It's fully featured. There's no restrictions. It's called strappad.com. I'm going to get straight to the point. I know time is precious for everybody out there. So I've been using StratPad now since its launch, and I speak to Alex Classy, the guy who created it, professor over in Canada. Forgive me, I can't remember which university, but he also has just launched a new program called F2F, which is a live streaming and broadcasting program. First of all, I guess let's talk about why you want a business plan, right? They're one of those things that people often do just when they're launching or when they're after some money from a bank or funding, that kind of stuff. And then it gets put on a shelf and it gets forgotten about. And I think that's like the biggest shame of all, because a business plan is probably one of the most critical documents you're going to have, particularly if you use it on an ongoing basis to review it and keep you on track. Now, it's worth remembering, I know this may seem a bit cliche, but even when a plane takes off for a big journey or even a small journey and the pilot puts on autopilot, an autopilot system will still make course corrections thousands of times as it goes through that journey, because things change, things move, things adapt. And your business plan is the equivalent of you starting off and saying, I'm going to start here, my destination is here, I perceive these are going to be my challenges, these are how I want to get there, that's when I want to get there by. And then as you go on that journey, you may get sidetracked. You may get shown different ways to do things. And sometimes we can be a long way off where we actually wanted to be. And it's only by having a living and breathing business plan that you come back to month after month to review it and check that you're on track with, that you will stay the course and get to your goals quicker. So what I want to do now is I just want to log into StratPad and I want to give you a quick overview of what it's all about and how you can actually use it. So you'd sign up to a free subscription if you've not already used this before. And it's dead simple. Sign in like you would do any other program, just follow the instructions, right? You don't need me to walk you through that. But let me give you a look at what's inside. He says, hoping he can remember his log on. Live. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So here we are in StratPad. When you first join, you'll get the menus down the left-hand side, really. All you need to do is click Create New Plan. I believe if you've not got a plan in here already, it will prompt you for that on your very first screen. Then you need to click onto StratPad Cloud. StratPad Cloud is where it all goes on. This is where we do all our writing. Now, the top tip I can give you first of all is go through each one of these sections in a skim. What do I mean by skim? I mean just write one or two sentences really quick, go on to the next section. Don't put too much thought behind it. Don't analyze it too much. Just get your thoughts out onto paper. That should take you no more than half an hour or so to just skim through each section, put your initial ideas and thoughts down, then go back and start reworking each section at a time, adding in more and more detail. So first of all, you've got your obvious stuff here at the front, your plan name, your company name, location, what currency do you work in. Then you move on to discussion. So the discussion is going to start off in the order that you need to build a business. Now, that starts off with who are your customers, who are your clients, what are their buyer personas. And one of the great things about StratPad is if you're ever unsure about what it's asking for and why it's asking for it, just click on to the question mark here, and it will give you a rundown of what you should be writing. For some of these, there's even a help video there for you to walk you through that section. So that's going to be the same in every section, really. It's then going to look at key problems, address problems, competitors, and in each of these sections, look at the top, you've got a question at the very top. Who are your competitors? The most raw of questions. And then it gives you some more prompts to ask that in a bit more detail. So here we've got describe your competitors. How large are they? What are their offerings, their strengths and weaknesses? How are they unique, different? How are you unique or different from them even? And it'll go through each of those sections, okay? It's even got, this is where it becomes a bit more of a living, breathing document compared to most business plan software providers. So you've got projects, and you can go for a guided or an expert. Let's go have a look at the guided, shall we? So the guided talks about how projects you may have on. So here you go, build new product, initial marketing, online, ongoing growth. Some of the clients I've worked with, they decide to do this in kind of year 1, year 2, year 3, or they decide to do it as a core product, new products. It depends what works for you, and that's why it's flexible. Once you've created your projects, you can then go and build objectives for them. Now, these objectives are all built around the the balanced scorecard. I forgot it then for a minute. The balanced scorecard. And the balanced scorecard looks at 4 different areas. Here's an example of a demo one that we've got in. So financially, what financial benefits do you wish to achieve for this project? What you're actually going to see coming in. And then you can put the objective as a description, what the metric is for that, what's the result you're actually going to see, target value, is it a percentage, is it a number, and by when. Customer client, what will they see? What are they going to experience from the project? Process and technology, what sort of internal processes or technology changes are you going to bring in to support this project? Staff, how much you train and develop the staff to make sure this project's successful. Once you've got all your different metrics in there based on the balanced scorecard, and if you've not heard of the balanced scorecard, by all means, Google it and learn a bit more about it. It's a great way to be setting goals and objectives. You've then got your activity. Your activities are tasks, individual tasks that relate to the objectives you've just set. Okay, so that's your next big section. After you've done the kind of the description and talked all about who your customers are, your competitors, your challenges, your business model, your strategy, your ultimate aspirations, that kind of stuff, you come on to your projects. And projects, objectives and activity are all linked together. They're, in essence, there's your project title, they're your milestones, and they're what you're going to do to achieve those milestones, right? If you use that kind of language instead. Then you can put in your loans and assets. So you can say, this is how long it's going to take customers to pay us. And on the one below, accounts payable, how long is it going to take us to pay other people? You can also add in there any inventory you have, any loans, assets, equity investments, sales tax, opening balances, the whole lot. Why is that important? Because as you'll see in a minute, you get a load of financial reports, and they're all governed by some of the stats that you put in here. Now, if you're building an Excel spreadsheet, you want to see what your cash flow is like, that's really challenging because you have to base it on kind of a static that all customers are going to pay you within 30 days or immediately, right? And to change that, you're either going to have to build a whole new set of financial projections, or you're going to have to adjust the same one over and over again. It's really messy and horrible. What you can do here is you can put all your numbers in, and then you can look at them and go, oh, cash flow is not looking great. What if we changed customers paying us from 10 days to 2 days? Then you click back onto the financial reports and it will update all those numbers for you. Or you can say, okay, you can run a scenario, or a what if scenario. You can go, what if they take that long, 77 days? What's going to happen then? You can also then change, well, what if we take 35 days to pay people as opposed to 16 days? And all the financial reports will come about later on down the line. You've also got, it will then give you a view and print your plan. So it will give you a complete summary of your plan, and you can download the plan as an actual Microsoft Word document as well. It will give you operational reports. This is one of my greatest features. this is one of the greatest features I really enjoy about it. It tells you what's your overall strategy at the top, what projects you got involved, financial, customers, clients, process. It shows you how it all links in together. I highly recommend once you've got this together, you print it off and put it on a wall. It looks great. It will show you project plan. It even produces agendas, meeting agendas for you to review on a monthly basis, either to hold yourself accountable or to make sure you hold other people accountable. Okay, if you've got a board of members. Financial reports, we talked about this earlier. You'll get all the financial reports that you need. You've got statement of cash flows, balance sheets. You've got them by monthly or on one-page documents. You may have noticed at the top here, you've got a print. You can print it anytime or email it to other people. Track your progress. So you can build reports and you can add in the value each month or whenever you want. You can go in and you can add a value, okay? And it will plot that on a graph. And then you can show it to other people or just know for your own sake how on track you are on that goal. Or do you need to adjust your course like an autopilot of a plane, right? You're still going to get to the same destination, but do you need to adjust how you're going to get there? So there's a lot to think about in here, an awful lot. But it's put in such a simple way. You can dib in, dib out, add a bit each day or just skim through. You can play about with numbers and you can share it with other people as well. There's also one last thing, but probably a really important thing, is there's what they call a strategy for entrepreneurs, small business toolkit. This all comes under the StratPad College. It's all training and development that you can dib into. What is a strategy? And then it tells you about what a strategy is and why you'd want a strategy. So I think it's a fantastic product. I've been using it for a few years now. I use it on and off, and I use it with clients, and they really love it. It really helps to focus the mind and get on track with what it is you want to achieve. It can also help with what we normally use business plans for, as in terms of raising finance, or because we're on a startup program, something like that. Hope.
So I hope you enjoyed it and was a good learning experience. So if you have any questions, we can take them up. Else we wrap up the session.
Yes, participants.
No, sir, no questions.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, Komal, you want to ask something? Komal?
Yes, good evening, sir.
Good evening, Komal.
Sir, I wanted to ask that is there any a particular software we should use to make a business plan, or would Word or any other MS Office would work with this?
So it depends on you entirely. There are times when people advocate Word and Excel are more than more than sufficient to build your business plan. But like StratPad demo that you saw, it has got a structure. It is giving you a structure to think, to work, and to report. So if you're new to business plans, then it is recommended that you go through a structured approach. But once you have developed a few business plans, then you can use Word and Microsoft to develop your business plan.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. And sir, is there any particular MS Office software we should go for? For example, if we want to show the financing or the costing of a business, should we choose Excel over Word, or should like Word
So
be
Excel
okay?
is for computations. Excel is for computations, and Word is for communicating your idea.
Okay, sir. So basically, a collaboration of various items would work.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir.
Yes, any other query? Yes, Akash?
Hello. Yes, sir.
Yes,
I would just
Akash.
want to ask that, sir, like we build a business plan for startup. So, but if we want to expand our business and we want venture capitalists to show our business plan. So, what will we write in a competence? Like, what? There's nothing new. We are just expanding our business. Like,
So
I
why
am
will
a
your business expand? The question is, why will your business expand?
so
Have you uh,
so like we are tea manufacturer, okay, sir. And if we want to enter a market of exports, so sir, what will be like something new, like they will interest the venture capital.
so there must be something, either a new market should be there, right? I mean, let's say you are
Like
targeting
there are many
African market.
competitors, so sir, we want to
So you
enter a
will have
market.
to, yeah. So you will have to show now what is the market analysis for the new market that you are targeting, and why your product would be a good fit.
Yes.
Okay, so business plan is not about showcasing just your technological know-how or what is innovative you have done. It's about showing that whatever plan you have is a viable one.
Okay. So, but what if, sir, like in the market, so there are many exporters. So, sir, what if we want to enter in that market with the same idea or ideology they are having? So, sir, how will we get to in?
So you know, why will you buy a product? There must be something unique about that product, or that could be that it's a cost leadership strategy where your product is the cheapest in the market, or maybe
Yeah,
there are
like
certain
yes, so like
features.
starting, we will like in starting, sir, we will provide the product at a cheap cost, and later on, if sub, the what we can say is that if the product is cheap, so people tend to buy our product, because in FMCG, so people tend to buy the cheap product at a better price, like product at a better price.
So you can have another strategy that the flavors that you are offering are not available in that particular market. There's something innovative about your flavor of your product, or the process of making it, right?
Yes,
Is
yes,
going to cost your customer less, or the life of your product is more.
yes, sir, yes.
So
Okay.
there can be several innovations in a given product, and which you can showcase to attract funding.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes, any other query? Yes, participants. So I think now there is no other query. So now I request Simon to propose a vote of thanks on behalf of TEDP team and all the participants. Simon.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, sir, for the lovely session, sir. It was very informative, and not only did the participants gather a lot of knowledge about business planning, we would like to thank you on behalf of Sindhu ma'am and Saket sir and our team. We would like to thank you for taking up this really informative and wonderful session. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you so much, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir. So participants, please mark your attendance. It has been circulated in the chat box. After marking attendance, you can leave the session now.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, beta. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.